Paris shuddered awake, a city cloaked in the grey hues of pre-dawn. The air, thick with the stench of stale bread and unwashed bodies, crackled with unspoken tension. Each cobblestone, every shadowed alleyway, seemed to whisper of dissent. The murmurs were low, but they were growing. A storm was brewing. This was not the gentle rain of compromise, but the furious tempest of revolution. The year was 1789. France, once a beacon of elegance, was now a tinderbox of poverty and despair. The common folk, their bellies empty and their voices silenced, were at their breaking point. For too long, they had endured the crushing weight of oppression. But something had shifted. A spark of defiance had ignited in the hearts of the people, and it threatened to consume the very foundations of the monarchy. A lone figure, the town crier, stood in the square. His voice, hoarse but determined, attempted to penetrate the growing unrest. He unfurled a scroll, the royal seal a splash of crimson against the fading parchment.
"By order of His Majesty King Louis XVI, he began, his voice barely audible above the gathering murmurs. "Let it be known that—"
A deafening explosion ripped through the morning calm. The words died in the crier's throat, replaced by a stunned silence. Then chaos. The tremor of fear that had simmered beneath the surface erupted. The crowd, a moment ago a collection of individuals, morphed into a single, terrified entity. Women clutched their children, their eyes wide with terror. Men instinctively reached for weapons that weren't there. The source of the blast was unknown, but its effect was immediate and profound. It was a catalyst, a physical manifestation of the rage that had been building for generations. The king's decree, whatever it may have been, was instantly forgotten. All that remained was the raw, primal instinct for survival. In the aftermath of that earth-shattering boom, the people of Paris knew one thing with absolute certainty. Life as they knew it had changed forever.
"Did you hear it?" Marianne asked, her voice betraying a hint of grim satisfaction.
"The Bastille," Pierre replied, a slow smile spreading across his face. "This is it, Marianne. This is the day everything changes." He held up a pamphlet, the ink still wet. "These words will be our weapons. They will ignite the fire in the hearts of our people." High above the chaos, in a cramped attic apartment, two figures prepared for the coming storm. Marianne, her face illuminated by the flickering candlelight, meticulously sharpened her father's old hunting knife. Across the table, Pierre carefully folded pamphlets, his brow furrowed in concentration. The air in the small room crackled with a different kind of tension, not fear, but anticipation.
Marianne nodded, her gaze hardening with resolve. Her fingers tightened around the knife handle. "For too long, we have been forced to endure. For too long, we have been silenced. No more. Today, we fight for our freedom. Today, we fight for a better tomorrow."
The Bastille loomed, a monolithic symbol of royal tyranny. Its imposing stone walls, built to inspire fear and obedience, had stood for centuries. But today, they faced a new challenge. A sea of humanity, fueled by rage and desperation, surged towards its gates. Their chants, a discordant symphony of anger and hope, echoed through the narrow streets. Crowd liberté, égalité, fraternité. The words, a beacon of hope in the darkness, rose above the tumult. They were a rallying cry, a testament to the ideals that burned bright in the hearts of the oppressed. The crowd, a swirling mass of humanity, pressed forward. They were bakers and blacksmiths, shopkeepers and servants, united in their common desire for a better world. Among them, two figures stood out. Marianne, her eyes blazing with defiance, brandished her father's hunting knife like a sacred banner. Beside her, Pierre, his voice hoarse from shouting, rallied the crowd with passionate words. "Pierre, today we reclaim what is rightfully ours. Today we take back our freedom." The air crackled with anticipation. The first stones, hurled with the raw force of desperation, arced through the air and crashed against the Bastille's imposing gates. A roar, primal and deafening, erupted from the crowd. This was it, the point of no return. There would be no turning back. Marianne, her small frame filled with a strength born of desperation, reached the front of the crowd. She looked up at the seemingly invincible fortress, her resolve unwavering. This was not just about bread, or taxes or even representation. It was about dignity. It was about hope. It was about the fundamental right of every human being to live a life free from oppression. Marianne, for France. And with that, she charged, leading the wave of humanity crashing against the gates of the Bastille. The revolution had begun.